In previous videos, I discussed how to study, think about, and motivate yourself to get through the CPA exams. As a follow-up, I wanted to make this video to discuss a little bit more about the exam day and taking the exam and specific strategy related to that. This is not going to be going into specific content or certainly not any material on the exams. This is more how to think about the exams and different strategies for going through them that may be helpful for you. So with that, let's get started. I don't think that scheduling the exam should be done too early, such as when you're not even close to finishing studying. What worked best for me is to study it when I was a little more in a groove and when I knew I was about 1 to 2 months out from finishing and getting ready for the exam. In certain situations, it's totally a valid strategy. Sometimes you may run out of time studying, or you may have an emergency or something that comes up. That's totally fine. The only thing I would caution against is repeatedly rescheduling, because this can just make the whole process take way longer. I want to go over this because this is one of those items that I feel is not super well known. But if you have an exam or a few exams that expire on you, in some instances, as long as you have a valid request that you file with NASBA, they can sometimes grant you an extension. Of course, I'm not guaranteeing anything. Some examples of those are military deployment, pregnancy, or natural disasters. This is a mistake that I made, and I learned from it for the next time. Sometimes I would take a half day. I would take the exam in the morning and then I would go to work for the second half of the day. I really would not recommend doing this unless you just have a super critical thing at work or whatever it may be. But the problem is that your brain is going to be really exhausted and it's going to be really hard to focus for the rest of the day. What I did in the future after making that mistake for myself is I would take the whole day off. Some people I know even take off the day after the exam or the day before the exam. That can also be a valid strategy. Taking PTO as long as you can for the full day of the exam is the best strategy here. When I took off the full day for the exam, what I did in the morning is stretch, work out a little bit, and just have a nice relaxing morning. That helped me get into a relaxed and good headspace for the exam, and I did end up passing far when I did that. In accordance with ADA, NASBA will make accommodations for those with valid requests. I just wanted to flag this because if you are someone who has a disability, this is something that you can request for your CPA exams. I highly recommend doing whatever you can to avoid cramming for the exam. I have not heard of anyone who cites this as an effective strategy. It's never been something that's worked for me. What worked best for me was regular studying and fairly light review the day before the exam. The night before the exam, I would do light reading of my study materials or anything else I wanted to go over. And then the morning or afternoon before the exam, very light and minimal reading and review, and then I would take the exam. I would not cram anything or try to study a new module or anything like that the night before or the morning before the exam. For time management, it's important to figure out which allocation works best for you. Take note of it and make sure you're keeping on track with it on exam day. I would aim for no longer than 2 hours for the multiple choice section and for the first 2 testlets, and then simulations for the second half of the exam. That's probably the rough split that everyone does, but I'm sure there are lots of different ways to do it. For the remaining 3 testlets for simulations, I would try to split the time evenly. If I finished the multiple choice questions a little bit early, let's say I finished them 15 minutes early. That means that I have 2 hours, 15 minutes left. Splitting that 3 ways gives me about 45 minutes per testlet. From then, I knew that that's basically what I would have to try to target for going through the rest of the exam. I always felt comfortable leaving a little bit of extra time if I could on the last testlet, because you can kind of relax a little bit and just focus on getting as many points as you possibly can. If the last sim happened to be easy, well, then that's not a problem, because then you just get to get out of the exam early and move on with your life. Breaks are going to be one of those things that varies for everyone. Everyone has specific situations and needs, and I totally understand that. I would only take the scheduled break in the middle of the exam to prevent running into my exam time. That's just what I prefer to do. It's important to just do whatever works best for you and your specific case. I did, for reg, just power through the exam and not take any breaks. Maybe you are someone who just gets in a crazy groove and you just want to finish and get out of there. That can be a valid strategy, but I can't recommend anything either way. I'm just saying what I did. These are just some of the methods that can be used for approaching the CPA exam day. My goal, as always, is to provide value for you as you go through this study journey. I really hope that I have done that for you here today. I do have 2 other videos on this topic. The first one goes over general CPA exam motivation and how to think about and approach the exams, and my other video talks a little bit more about strategy regarding studying and how to approach that. If you haven't seen those videos, those are also available on my channel. As always, thank you so much for watching. This will be the last CPA exam related video, but stay tuned for more CPA related content in the future. Thank you.